Peters, founder and managing partner with the Peter Damon Group, and I'm joined here by my colleague, Ceresia Nelson. We have a great show in store for you today. Wouldn't you agree, Ceresia?
We absolutely do, and it's all because of our awesome guest. She is Omarosa Manigault-Newman. And listen, she's got an awesome bio, and I'm just going to take a little of our time to tell you I want to frame this conversation, tell you a little bit about her, okay? She's a New York Times bestselling author who's worked in the political arena for the past 20 years. She's worked for 2 United States presidents, the Department of Commerce Technology Agency, and the Office of the Vice President in the White House. She's an ordained minister. Many of you may not have known that. And she's a commissioned military chaplain in the California State Military Reserve. She's currently the assistant pastor at Mount Calvary Church in Jacksonville, Florida. So a mental note, I've got to go visit there. She is also an awesome and terrific HBCU proponent, because she has attended 3 historically Black colleges and universities, okay? Central State University, Howard University, Florida State College in Jacksonville. And she's currently, y'all, a student right now. You're enrolled in her as a law student, right?
My first year at Southern University Law Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Awesome. So you're a 1L. Is that what they call first year law students? A 1L?
Yes, and just one correction so I don't get a whole bunch of emails and tweets. The 4th HBCU I attended was Payne Theological Seminary for my seminary education. It's in Wilberforce, Ohio.
She's a seminarian. So I love that about her. So she has done many things. Many of you remember her from television. But today she is our guest on the PowerPlay series, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with Darren and you with Ceresia. Great to be here on the PowerPlay.
Thank you so much. So listen, you've done so much. Many may not know that you've been an advocate in many different areas, working in urban ministry, helping at-risk youth, helping to end homelessness, and of course, with your bio that I just gave the people. Tell us, what's your proudest effort that you spearheaded that you believe has truly made a difference in the world?
You know, I think first of all, thank you all for having me on. I think the most effective and probably the most personal thing for me is being able to share the sweetest thing that I know, which is the gospel of Jesus Christ, and to bring people into the kingdom, traveling the world, preaching the gospel that has truly saved my life. And so truly my call to ministry is my proudest moment. It is the hardest thing that I do, but it is the most fulfilling, and it is truly the call on my life.
That is awesome. So we were talking a little bit before the show began. I'm a preacher's kid. I'm a 3rd generation Kojic, so I'm a Church of God in Christ. And so, you know, we're loud worshipers, but you know, we're all in one big family in the kingdom. So I really appreciate that about you. And I don't believe that enough people know that about you. And I have to believe that work and that piece of your life informs everything that you do. And being a seminarian too. So you're studied. You didn't just get it you're learned as well.
Certainly. You know, I think the most important part of what people should know about me is that my moral compass really truly comes from the Word of God. It is my GPS. It is my roadmap. And so the decisions I make are based on my obedience to what God has instructed me to do. As we know, God is the author and finisher of our faith, and He has, my story of life, it's an interesting story. And He has an incredible sense of humor when it comes to me. But in terms of my broader work, when I lived in Los Angeles, you mentioned 2 of things that I'm very passionate about, which is homeless and working with at-risk youth. A part of my story that you would certainly be familiar with if you had my book is my growing up in Westlake Projects, the death of my father. He was murdered when I was 7, the death of my brother who was murdered at 40. And so I know that there are young people who are like me who come out of very tough, violent environments. And so I have tried to pour into as many as I could, including in Compton, where I served on the board of tomorrow's Aeronautic Museum, as well as my work on Skid Row when I was assistant pastor at Willow Street Baptist Church. working at the Fred Jordan Mission. So thank you for mentioning two things that are very near and dear to my heart because they're very personal extensions of my life story.
Well, we know that your life story is still unfolding, and we're here for it. I just want you to know we're here for it. Unhinged is the name of her book. So if you don't have it, please go get it. So we're talking about power play, and a part of power play is just definitely being able to spread your message and a part of spreading your message is being an effective communicator, whether that's in the White House or in politics or behind a pulpit. And so you are an awesome communicator. But we live in a world of rapidly changing info with social media and 24/7 news cycles. So what has helped you? What's had the most profound impact upon your communication skills and your ability to articulate as well as you do? So tell us a little bit about, because I'm a communicator too, so I'm interested to know.
I had a mentor. Her name is Jocelyn Dabney, and she still mentors me today. She was my librarian when I was in school, and I had difficult reading because I wasn't diagnosed at that point with dyslexia. And so I was always so very frustrated. And they call me Oni, which is my middle name. And she said, Oni, you have to find something that you're good at. So even though you're not good at reading, you're very good at communicating. And so she just poured into me and she put me on the speech team. And she just really, really saw something in me that I didn't. Wow. And she started to improve my vocabulary and put me into Toastmasters. And so communication was really for me a way to boost my self-esteem, because when you're dyslexic and you don't know it, you often try to find out what's going on and why you can't keep up. But because of this one woman, Jocelyn Dabney, God bless her, I found the gift of communicating and the power of being a persuasive, impactful communicator. Mm-hmm. And it truly has kind of taken me to new heights. I mean, I've had a chance to speak around the world. I've had a chance to preach at the Jordan River in Israel and speak at Cambridge and Oxford and Harvard and all these amazing places that I never imagined that I would have a chance to speak at. So I do credit that a lot to Jocelyn Dabney and, of course, my mother, who required us to master English in ways that most people take for granted. And so it was not acceptable in our home to be cavalier with our vocabulary. My mama was the queen of use your words. Okay, that's not acceptable. Find another word. So
I love that. I love that.
Well, Omarosa, you and I go back a long way and been friends for some time. And not that long ago. We're still young people.
So I was about to say, how long you talking with? Because you tell them, you'll show us our age. I remember when I first met you, and it has been more than 20 years ago. And I would say that I was very fortunate to have the legends of politics teach me, including Darren, Craig Kirby, JD, Kevin Jefferson. I mean, who wouldn't sit at the feet of these greats? And you all were just so generous to us young politicals in terms of teaching us and guiding us and trying to navigate politics at that age. I mean, I was in my 20s when I went into the White House the first time. So I have to say to you publicly what I've said to you privately. I thank you so much for being so instrumental in that time in my political career. I appreciate you, Darren.
Well, thank you. And you've named some very dynamic individuals. And I think we had a lot of folks like that working with us. So we were truly fortunate to be around a number of great people who cared about making sure that people like you and me, not only got the experience, but learned from the experience. And so that was appreciative. Now, look, Saricia mentioned that you served in, 2 administrations, and one, of course, was an administration with me, the Clinton administration. I got a question for you.
Sure.
How did your time at the White House influence your communication skill so that you could become such a persuasive speaker and writer that you are today?
Well, the first thing you learn in the White House is that your words can have consequences, right? There's a big impact as a White House official to what you say and how you say it, and if you say it to the wrong person. And Kevin Jefferson used to say to me when I was in the vice president's office, say as little as possible, right? That was a big lesson because, as I said, I was raised to be a big talker, a big communicator. And so I learned to be clear, concise, and thorough in my communication. And I learned that from serving in 2 administrations, 2 White Houses over the course of 20 years. So yes, clear, concise, and thorough.
Yeah, I can remember Carol Willis saying something similar to me, but kind of in a different way. But
probably
but
different
pretty
words.
much, hey, you're gonna be in the room, but just be in the room.
Just shut up, sit there, be quiet. Yes, I remember Carol Willis, Charlie Duncan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bob Nash. Oh my God, all these names just bring a flood back. And I have to tell you, dear, you can call Bobby Joe Nash anytime. He will answer your phone. He's so wonderful.
Yeah,
he is wonderful.
We are so blessed with so many people, including Lottie Shackelford, who is my shero. I have to give her a shout out on your show.
Yeah, Lottie, Mignon, Alexis. Oh, we can name just so many people.
Yes, we can. Definitely.
Look, we know also that you've been a longtime fan of the show Jeopardy. So my next question is, what qualities do you think are most important in a host that the show should seek, for their next permanent placement for Alex Trebek?
First of all, let me just tell you, I totally fangirled when I met Alex Trebek for the first time. It was at an Emmys event. I think it was actually a daytime Emmys event that I was just at with a colleague because I had done some soaps or whatever. And I don't know what he was doing there, but I remember meeting him and I was just, I had no words at that point. I was like, Alex, oh my gosh. Yes, I have been watching Jeopardy with my mother, my grandmother, as long as I can remember. But then when I became a couple of clues on Jeopardy, that's when I kind of knew.
Hey, that's when you know you've made it, right?
But in terms of a host, I have to be totally transparent with you all. I am Team LeVar all day, every day. I probably tweet, and I'm a part of a community of obsessive Jeopardy fans that were really at the helm of that campaign to make sure that LeVar Burton became the next host of Jeopardy. We know that didn't happen, but he has all of the qualities. He is dynamic. He is passionate, so knowledgeable. He has an incredible career, but he also is connected to Jeopardy fans like myself. I mean, he's just as much of a fan of the show as we are. And so I'm so sad that the initial selection of the next Jeopardy host was kind of, it was kind of mishandled. And so I hope that as they move forward and continue to look for the right host, that they will give full consideration to what the fans want. And this fan wants LeVar Burton if it's not too late. So
never too late, right? It's never too late. I'm with you on that. I think he would be amazing.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, so, definitely.
And if he doesn't work out, you might not make a bad host yourself.
I have big dreams, but I don't know that that's ever been on my dream list because it's just so huge. But I would be honored. I love that show. I really do.
Didn't we say the chapter you're still unfolding? You never say never know.
Y'all got me blushing over here because I was like, that's a question I never get from interviewees, and it is truly my favorite show on television.
That's
so, well done. Good on you.
So listen, because this is a power play discussion series, and this is kind of our last question. If you had the power to make one power play, you could change an issue or solve a problem to make our world better, what would you do? What would be your power play?
I believe that no child should have to go to sleep hungry in this country or not know where they're going to lay their head at night. Childhood poverty is something that we in this country should truly be ashamed of because we are the wealthiest country in the world. and with so many resources, so much knowledge, so many people willing to serve. The amount of children that I saw on Skid Row would just break your heart. And so if I could address just one issue, and certainly I tried in my time in Washington to find solutions to this issue, but the one issue that requires our immediate attention is the pain and the suffering and the neglect of our children who are homeless and have not even a basic meal. And that truly, for the rest of my life, I will be working and using all of my resources, my network, and my skill and knowledge to try to eradicate that.
Awesome. And you're correct. That is definitely something in our country that we should and can work to eradicate. So thank you so much for that poignant answer. That really lets us know another peek inside your heart, into your heart. So thank you for that.
Y'all haven't asked me about law school here.
You know what? I hear it.
Hello.
I know. I'm going to ask you because this is it. I was going to ask because I hope that there's another book coming. So tell us, I mean, law school, you've done so much, Omarosa. Like, what is the impetus? What spurred you to do law school now?
You know, I was on my way to law school before I heard about this show back in 2003 called The Apprentice. And so I had been studying, for the LSAT, and I was all prepared to take the LSAT and to go to law school back in 2002 and 2003. And then I got information about The Apprentice. And then, of course, you all know the rest is history. The show went on to be #1 show on TV. And then I went on this career where I've done hundreds of shows and all of that. But in my heart, I still wanted to pursue law. Unfortunately, we had a tragedy. My brother was murdered, and found myself in the courtroom sitting next to my mother and his children, in our family, facing my brother's murderer. And I knew that at some point, somehow, I was going to have to really face the fact that I was not equipped for that moment. And so when the pandemic happened, it gave us a very unique time for all of us to kind of reevaluate and revisit things that in our life that we wanted to do, that we have been neglecting. And so during the lockdown, I started studying for the LSAT again and applying to schools. I only applied to the 6 HBCU law schools so I could continue the tradition of being educated at these incredible institutions. And I chose Southern because it has a virtual option, and I could do my first year of law school here in Jacksonville, Florida. And so I am finally, after nearly 20 years, following my dream of becoming a lawyer, and hopefully I can help families like mine who were impacted by senseless violence to help to be able to be a voice for them. So yes, I'm in law school.
Congratulations on that. And that's really, what life is supposed to be about. We, oftentimes we think that, we're only, destined for one career or one thing in life, but we can do multiple things and enjoy what life has to offer. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Darren. Thank you both. And such wonderful questions. This has really been a very unique interview. You've asked me questions I've not been asked, so I appreciate that.
We love that. That's pretty. I mean, you've been interviewed on countless times, so that's quite a compliment to the PowerPlay series.
Yes, PowerPlay.
Well, listen, we want to make sure that our viewing audience can keep up with you. Your the next book, the next, I don't know, Jeopardy host, who knows, Supreme Court justice. We just don't know. So how do we keep up with you? Where can we find you on social media so that we're able to be with you?
Thank God my father gave me such a unique name. So I am at Omarosa on every platform. That's at Omarosa on Twitter, at Omarosa on Instagram, at Omarosa on Facebook, and Omarosa, just Omarosa on LinkedIn. I'm also on TikTok and Snap, but I don't know if any of those y'all are following that. But always you can go to omarosa.com for all of the updates on my projects. And I have some exciting projects coming up in the next month or so. So.
Okay, awesome. You want to give us an exclusive? Can we get a little preview? I mean, we're family here.
Yeah.
I did my, I guess it would be about my 100th episode of reality TV happened. I taped it already. It hasn't aired.
Okay.
I went to Australia and joined the cast of Big Brother VIP, which is 14 celebrities living in a house in Australia. And so I was on with Meghan Markle's brother and Caitlyn Jenner and some other folks. But yeah, that is, it's incredible to be able to continue to do what I love to do, which is entertainment, after all these years. So yes, and I think it premieres in a couple of months.
Okay.
What is it, September, October? Oh, it premieres next month. It premieres next month in Australia, but I'm sure that if you follow my social media, I will post links to the episodes so that you can see me representing as the only African-American and the only person of color on the entire cast. So that was a very interesting thing. That was my first time in my entire career being the only person of color on a television show.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Coming to a TV set near you. Congratulations on that as well.
Well, look, didn't I say that we were going to have a great show?
You did. You called it.
That was magnificent.
Yes.
So we want to once again thank our guest and my friend Omarosa for stopping by the Power Play series. And we want to wish you continued success in your many efforts to push progress forward.
Mm-hmm.
And as a reminder to the viewing audience, the Power Play series is a monthly discussion of substantive, new, and emerging ideas with power players who are shaping our future with their dynamic and innovative leadership. You can catch the series on the Peter Damon Group social media platforms at Peter Damon Group on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Until next time, thank you for joining us and keep it moving forward.
Bye.
Thank you.